They what experience do you have? What experience? I mean, I actually remember this was a fight that I actually got with my ex-husband one time because of the fact he had started a new job and he came home just like, talking mad crap about all the people that he worked with. And it was, well, I should be this. And I like looked at him and I was like, why? Like, why do you feel that you deserve that? And like, it was, well, you have no experience in it. You have done nothing. Like you have nothing in that even field. You have nothing in that marketing. Why do you? And they literally have it just because they thought it, they should immediately have it. And they are worthy and they deserve it. And it comes from, also not just only the wounds, but parents, just giving them whatever they wanted, it was it because really their parents couldn't even stand them. A lot of the times the truth is that their own parents couldn't, but their own parents didn't discipline them to change those behaviors and just fed into those behaviors. So they became these spoiled little brats who, got what they wanted at young ages and they think how adulthood happens and it doesn't.
Yeah, like they throw big tantrums as well. And you're like, okay, what is this about? And then they do a lot of gaslighting. So did you want to talk about gaslighting and what that means? Because it just sounds random, but yeah, they do.
Yeah, but gaslighting, that's a whole mind trick. It's to try to make you doubt your own perceived perception. It's they'll constantly, you're crazy. Oh, you didn't hear me. Oh, I was just joking. What are some other famous ones? That's not what I meant, but that's what you said. So
and then they when you remember that they said something and you question them on that, why did you say that? What did you mean by that? They're like, no, I didn't say that. Then you're thinking, I'm pretty sure you did say that. So you start doubting yourself and even your own gut. You start not listening to your own gut and then they feed so many lies to you about other people as well. So you start to think, does that person really, like it ends up being lies, but you actually start to think, if someone loves me so much, then why would they lie about this? And so you actually start to believe it and you don't even want to question the other person and say, hey, did you really say that? Because that would be awkward. But it ends up being a lie. And then, you're just living a lie and you're just
a complete lie. There are so many things that were in my marriage that, things that like some people would be like, I can't believe you were so naive. And it was like, it wasn't that I was naive, I was trusting, but like certain things of like, why would I have questioned my husband? We're supposed to be a partnership. We're supposed to be a team. We're supposed to be working together, but they don't understand anything about teamwork because it is them for themselves. And there were so many things like once I separated and went through my divorce of so many different lies that like came out. And it was like, oh, I really was naive, but but I believed in the wrong person who was sitting there this whole entire time using psychological abuse, verbal and mental abuse. And we don't recognize it a lot because of patterns. Like for me, it was so easy for my ex-husband to do this because I grew up with narcissistic parents. So it was normal behavior. It was normal, it was normal for me to hear irrational type thoughts. It was normal for me to hear all this type of craziness. It was my normal. So it was easy to do for him. But yeah, they're famous for that. And one example of like especially for girls in relationship, and there's girl narcissists, guys just get a bad rap for it, but there are girl narcissists too.
There is,
a perfect example of like the manipulation and the gaslighting. I'd love to use the example of say like you're getting ready, like you guys have a special night planned, like you're getting ready to go out, you spend a lot of time on an outfit, you feel really good about yourself, you spend a lot of time, you're looking in the mirror and you're just like, I look good, and you go walk out and they're like, you wearing that? Devastated, you become devastated, you become shut down, and then it's like, wait a second, I'm just joking. You look great, baby. You look great. Well, now you've already put that. Now you've gaslighted me. Now you've put that thought into my mind. Now it's like, well, do I look good? Now do I feel good? Did I feel good about myself? Because I thought I looked good, but now you said that in facial expression, and then if you don't go change your outfit, then what happens the whole night, you're sitting there, someone who looks at you, oh God, did they think I look okay? Because you do become very concerned with outside validation. That's what they project all the time. But then, you know, if you do go change that outfit, the narcissist is, you just let them know that they have complete control over
Yeah.
you. That you
Yep.
completely, the fact of the matter is, then they're so twisted. You
Mhm.
go change your outfit all night long, they're going to be like, oh, you should have worn that other outfit. You should have worn that other outfit. You know, that's where it's like, it's that constant game of like, what do you, they have no clue what they want. They have no,
Yeah.
because they get the shiny little glitter, you know, it's
Yep.
like, oh, I want that, I want that. And they just don't appreciate anything. But I love using that example because it is such the manipulation, it's the brainwashing, it's the gaslighting, it's all of that all combined into one simple where it just ruins everything.
It does. And I totally feel that. I wanted to say to our audience that, like, when we talk about narcissists, it is about family, it is about friends, it is about bosses, it is about obviously partners. It's a whole lot of people, right? But I love the fact that you use that that one, because I've had the same thing, and like I was rocking something, it was amazing. I've had heaps of those experiences, but anyway, but this particular one, like I was actually, I can't like, and it's, I'm a confident person. I'm awesome. I know that, but they just get into your mind so much. And so here I am out having an awesome night, and they're just criticizing, and then they even make me cry, and I'm just sitting crying in like a restaurant, right? This has happened a few times, and it's just so heart-wrenching because you're just sitting there going, wow, you're so much, you deserve so much more than this, but you're like you're just like this wounded person because they've just been at you constantly, you know, and so you're just at the end, just you're broken, you're just like, you don't even know, and all your reality is flipped upside down, so you don't even know, and you spend a lot of time telling people and trying to like tell other people that everything's okay and all that stuff. So then when you actually go and try and tell people about stuff, tell us some more about how they don't believe you, or that they've already groomed that other people and all that. Do you want to have those conversations?
Oh my God. Well, here is a great one for you. Okay.
Mhm.
So my, right before I was getting ready to, I'd already started figuring out the whole love bombing, because like another situation after, like the next day after that, he was probably amazing to you. You know, it was all the sweetness, where it was kind of like, it was that up and down roller coaster of like, okay, last night you were a complete dick to me, and now today you're Prince Charming. You know, it's that up and down roller coaster. Well, my ex had actually, and I had no idea, he was hacked into all of my stuff.
They do
So
that. Yes.
they
They get
do,
into everything, right? Yeah.
yes. And then, you know, also a
Scary.
sign of your, like, if you start a relationship, and like my ex did this, and I thought it was weird at first, but then I thought, you know, oh, he's trying to make a connection, like going on your social media accounts and starting to friend all your friends and stuff like that.
Yes.
Just to keep tabs on you. It is just to see who you're talking to, who you're interacted with.
Mhm.
But so my ex, he was hacked into my stuff, and I didn't know that he was, and I was getting ready. I was planning my exit. I was planning to leave him, and it was coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary. And he kept asking, what do you want to do for our anniversary? What do you want to do? And I was like, nothing. Like, we are not in a good place. Like, why? There is nothing to celebrate of 10 years together with you. Are you completely kidding me? Like, no.
Yeah.
The day of our, and it's funny because I actually made bets with my best friend that he was going to do this, because I'd already figured out his love bombing technique that I had been falling for years.
And what is love bombing? Because I want our audience to know.
Okay. This is going to explain it. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So the day of our anniversary, like that morning, like we at that point had like we were just roommates, and we barely interacted and stuff like that. You know, it was actually great because he was working a job that he worked at nights, so I never saw him. You know, he was sleeping during the day. It was fabulous. Well, that morning he made a point to like come home while I was getting the kids ready for school and stuff like that. And I never got on social media in the morning times while, you know, I was doing stuff with kids. And he was like, get on Facebook, get on Facebook. And I was like, no, like, I don't like, no, I don't care. Finally, he had my youngest son bring my phone to me, and he was like, get on Facebook. So I get on Facebook, and there is this long, drawn out, oh, the love of her, blah, 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 the last 10 years, blah, 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 all this. And don't get me wrong, it was so romantic. It was so romantic, but I already knew what love bombing was. I already had educated myself, and here was the love bomb. Here was the reminder of the guy he was when we first started dating. Here was a symbol of it. So I read this whole thing and I'm like, thanks. He looks at me, Nicole, and he was like, what? He's like, I got bitches on there crying that's the sweetest thing that they've ever read. And I was like, who's it for, them or me? Because I don't believe anything that's in it.
No.
And I walked out of the house. Ooh, well, but that's what love bombing is. That's like an explosion of all of a sudden they know everything is wrong. So now they have to do some type of tactic. They have to show you some type. And so there was his. And I already took a bet. I already placed a bet with my best friend that was going to happen. He was going to put something out on Facebook. Sure enough, there. Well, then he even took it worse because about, I guess like a year before that, like we had joined the gym together to try to create a bond because we were already, you know, it's a constant love cycle. It's a constant they love bomb you. You see them for, you know, the person they were when you first started dating. And then you go on and then the criticism, the gaslighting, everything. And then when they realize that you're starting to like separate, you're starting to pull away, they love bomb you. And then the cycle starts over. It's called the narcissistic cycle of abuse. And so I would go to the gym every day after I dropped the kids off. And so I left the house, everything. I figured he was going to go to sleep because he had to work that night. I get to the gym and he's at the gym. I was like, what are you doing here? And, oh, well, I thought it would be great, you know, if, you know, we could do something together, you know? And I was like,